Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. I am your host, Chris Schulte. Happy Father's Day late to all the fathers out there. I think I wished them a happy Father's Day last week as well. So if that's the case, it's double wishes. It's good to do that anyway. So we're happy that things are what they are. So let's go ahead and get into everything that's going on and has been going on in the last week or so in Tigers baseball goings on. Everything that's been going on in the goings on. There you go, because that's professional. I want to give a quick update. Casey Mize went in on Wednesday last week and had his surgery, his Tommy John surgery. It was performed by Dr. Keith Meister, who was the one who found the elasticity issue in the first place. So he went in on Wednesday. I don't expect to see him back until probably 2024. And you figure anywhere from 12 to 18 months. Detroit's not going to push this. They're not going to let him push this. You're going to be looking at a situation where right around spring training is when he'll be coming back. He will probably be doing rehab. He'll probably start rehab as far as from an injury perspective. If I remember right, you're not supposed to do anything with a baseball for at least 6 weeks after you do the surgery, after you have the surgery. So my guess is he'll probably start doing some. You're not even supposed to pick up a baseball for at least 6 weeks. So he'll probably be doing some sort of basic rehab, throwing and things like that. Him and his wife live in Florida, so probably around the beginning of January of next year. And then he probably goes to spring training next year just to be with the team and does more rehab activities, plays catch, does some long toss, things like that. And starts really getting himself into shape again late June next year, early July. I mean, you could theoretically see him in September of 2023, but I mean, Justin Verlander didn't pitch at all last year, and he had his Tommy John surgery around the same time that Casey Mize did back in 2020. So, you know, it's one of those things. I don't see it being an extended, or I don't see it being a fast track back, because I mean, he's a number 1 overall pick, and you don't want to rush that if you can help it. So look for 2024 for Casey Mize. Probably you'll see Spencer Turnbull later this year, if not early next year. You'll probably see Jake Rogers later this year, if not early next year. But Casey Mize is because of the time of the surgery, you might as well just figure 2024. So there you go. I wanted to also comment that Riley Greene was called up this week, was called up Saturday. Jeimer Candelaria will probably be activated tonight from the injured list. He went 6 for 16 with 2 doubles in his rehab assignment in Toledo. And he will probably, like I said, be activated tonight. They're in Boston. Toledo was just finishing a series against Worcester last week. They wrapped that up yesterday, so he probably just stayed over in Boston and is going to rejoin the team tonight. Detroit designated Drew Hutchison for assignment again. This is after calling him up last week to fill a couple of spot starts, basically during bullpen days. I don't understand how this works because they designated him for assignment a couple months ago. And re-signed him to a minor league deal. So I'm wondering if, because he's got major league service time and because he's got a certain amount of major league service time, they have to DFA him because they can't just send him up and down like they do with, for instance, Derek Hill got optioned to Toledo last week. So I'm wondering if he's out of options even because of the fact that he's got so much service time, even though they signed him to a minor league deal. I'm wondering if that's what the reasoning is behind that. They also designated Jacob Barnes for assignment last week and released him outright on Saturday. So Jacob Barnes is gone. He can sign anywhere he wants to. They didn't even want to give him a chance to go pitch in the minors. So he's done. And he may come back and re-sign with the Tigers on a minor league deal if nobody else will sign him on a major league contract. I don't know. But Jacob Barnes is gone. And Drew Hutchison, after giving up 3 runs in 4 2/3 innings yesterday, and on Tuesday, pitching quite well against the Chicago White Sox team that ended up beating up on Detroit 5-1. He gave him 4 innings on Tuesday and 4 2/3 yesterday. Those were both bullpen days, and he has been DFA'd again. And like I said, I suspect that is for service time reasons, instead of just optioning him back down to AAA. He was DFA'd because Detroit doesn't need a 5th starter, and they have to be down to 13 pitchers as of today. 13 pitchers, 13 position players. And so they've got 4 starters right now. Ronnie Garcia, Bo Brisky, Alex Faedo, and Tarek Skubal. And then they have the 9 guys in the bullpen, and then the 13 position players. So that's why they had to do it why they did it that way. What they're going to have to do come July 1st, because at that point they're going to need a 5th starter, is, well, they probably won't need a 5th starter until the 4th. But what then they'll have to do is send somebody down. They'll probably have to send 2 people down because Jose Cisneros is rehabbing. He strained his Achilles during his throwing program in Lakeland, but he's getting back into that, and we'll get a rehab assignment within the next couple weeks. And so they're going to have to send somebody down because they're going to add their 5th starter. And then Jose Cisneros is going to join this bullpen, which is already good. Despite the garbage that they went through last week, that bullpen is still a very good bullpen. It's still the 2nd best in the American League as far as bullpen ERA is concerned. So there you have it. Now, I mentioned that the Tigers called up Riley Greene, and we'll get to that. We will get to that. Trust me, I have a lot to say on that. But I want to discuss something that happened last week. Last week, Wednesday to be exact. The Tigers welcomed the White Sox into town last Monday and lost 9-5, 5-1, and 13-0. They got beat 27-6 in a 3-game series by Chicago. A depleted Chicago team, by the way. A Chicago team without Eloy Jimenez and without Tim Anderson. 27-6 in 3 games. They figured after the 3rd game that they needed to have a players-only meeting. They closed the clubhouse for about a half an hour and had a players-only meeting. Why did it take you this long to do that? Why couldn't you have done that when you were 9-24? Why couldn't you have done that after you got swept by Minnesota in Minnesota, and during that time that you got swept in Minnesota, you played baseball like you were playing baseball in a Marx Brothers movie? You scored 5 runs in that 3-game series. Why couldn't you have done it then? Why did you have to wait until you got home in the middle of June and got absolutely crushed by Toronto? Getting outscored 16-4 in 3 games. Then getting outscored 27-6 in 3 games. So you get outscored 42-10 in 6 games, and that's when you choose to have a team meeting? You couldn't have had the team meeting after you got outscored 21-4 against the Yankees? Shut out twice against the Yankees? It took getting shut out by Toronto and then getting shut out by Chicago and getting absolutely whooped by both teams to have a team meeting? Guys, at the end of that series, Detroit was 24-38. What's the difference between 9-24 and 24-38, other than one of them you're 15 games under 500, the other one you're 14 games under 500? Why couldn't this meeting have been held in May? Why did it take until June 15th for you guys to go, we're not playing well? Really? It took you 62 games to figure that out? Harold Castro, Tucker Barnhart, and Cody Clemens pitched in that 13-0 loss. 2 third basemen and a catcher. Only that day, because Javier Baez had the day off, because Javier Baez is absolutely sucking wind right now. Harold Castro was playing short. Cody Clemens was playing third. Your 2 utility players and a catcher who was supposed to have the day off came in and pitched because you didn't have enough bullpen help. Maybe that's why. We're embarrassed because 3 position players had to pitch. If we'd had enough bullpen help, if our guys had straightened it out, and if we had 5 actual starters and didn't have to have a bullpen day yesterday, so all the guys in the pen would have been available today, we wouldn't have had the team meeting. We would have just taken that 13-0 loss and been like, well, they're the White Sox and we're the Tigers and they're better than we are. (24-38), and you have a players-only meeting. When you were 9-24 through the first 33 games. "29 games ago, you were 15 games under 500. You've improved by a game in those 29 games. You could have I don't know, gotten yourself to the 500 mark in that time? I mean, sure, you would have had to go like, I don't know. You'd have had to win 15 in a row to get back to 500. That puts you at 34 and 34. Sorry, 24 and 24. And then over the next 14 games, you could have gone 7 and 7. And you'd still be at 500. You'd be 30 and 30, 31 and 31. And guess what? You'd be in third place in the division. Probably, I think at that time you would have been second because Cleveland hadn't started its 8-game winning streak yet, or was just getting that started. You'd have been better than the White Sox. Instead, the White Sox got themselves back to 500, probably over the 500 mark, against you. By outscoring you a combined 27-6, an average of 9-2. You score 5 runs in one game, and then 1 run the next 2 games. You get outscored 9-2 an average per game in 3 games. And this is after Willie Castro hits a solo shot off of Lance Lynn in the bottom of the first to cut into the lead that the White Sox had at that point. This is after Detroit had a 5-3 lead in the 5th inning in Game 1. But then the bullpen coughed it up. You were down 7-5 in the top of the 9th. Joe Jimenez comes in, walks the first batter he faces, and then gives up a homer to Jose Abreu that's still being tracked by the International Space Station. A week later, and that thing is still in orbit. And I'm not saying anything bad against Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu is a heck of a player. Jose Abreu seems to get it together whenever he faces the Tigers. I wish the Tigers could get it together whenever they faced somebody. Anybody. Oh, this pitcher is a pitcher that Detroit's had some success against. There you go. You just jinxed it. Sorry, Dan. Love you as a broadcaster, but when you say stuff like that, I know we're going to lose. I don't remember who the pitcher was on Wednesday, but he started and he only threw 41 pitches, and it took him 41 pitches to get through 3 innings. Tony La Russa came out and got him because he's stretching him back out as a starter. He's coming off of an injury and he's stretching him back out. So he throws 41 pitches, comes out and gets him. Turns the game over to the bullpen. At that point, at the point in the 3rd inning when Tony La Russa came out and got this guy, Detroit was already down 5-0. They scored 8 more runs in the next 6 innings. Hey, AJ, we love you, man. We need to have a meeting amongst ourselves. We need to sort this out. Get in your office. Shut the door. Tell the media they're not coming in. Sorry, guys. We need to have a meeting, and once that's done, we'll talk. I can see this meeting right now. Michael Fulmer stands up and says, "Hey, guys, we suck. What are we going to do about it?" "Oh, we're going to play better." Yeah, you go out and you lose 7-1, and you go out and lose 10-1 in the next 2 games to Texas. Had a 1-0 lead in the first game, and then Gregory Soto comes in and gives up a bases-loaded triple to some rookie.